Canto 12. Summary. Dante continues talking with Oderisi as long as his guide allows. Then Virgil tells him to come away and spend time looking at the ground they are walking on. Just as stories of humility are carved on the marble wall, here on the ground stories are carved as well, but this time they are stories of pride. In rapid succession, the carvings depict Satan falling from heaven like lightning, thunderbolting. The giant Briareus making war on Olympus, Thymbraeus' palace, and Mars standing around their father Jupiter, after having put down the giant rebellion. Nimrod, the insolent though mighty hunter from Genesis 11, building the Tower of Babel, Niobe being turned into stone on account of her extreme pride over how many children she had, Saul, the first king of Israel, at the moment of his death, Arachne, the weaver, being turned into a spider, Rehoboam, whose arrogance lost him the 10 northern tribes of Israel, Alcmaeon, who killed his mother at the behest of his father, whom she had ordered killed, Sennacherib, who attempted to destroy Hezekiah and all of Judah, and was killed by his sons when he failed, Thamyris, who killed proud Cyrus, king of Persia, the Assyrians fleeing after the death of Holofernes, whose pride was brought to an end by Judith, and finally proud Troy, in ashes and ruins. After this litany of proud and arrogant figures from history and myth, Virgil and Dante take the passage that leads them up. They approach the angel that guards the way, who welcomes them, and brushes Dante's forehead with his wing. As they move toward the stairway that will lead them to the next circle, they hear sung behind them, Beati pauperes spiritu, blessed are the poor in spirit, the words of the first beatitude from Matthew 5. It is the first of 7 songs, each from the Beatitudes, that the travelers will hear upon leaving a terrace. As they climb the stairs, Dante notices that he feels lighter and asks his guide what it means. Virgil explains that he is noticing the absence of the first P taken from him when his forehead was brushed by the angel's wing. Dante reaches up and finds that only 6 P's remain. Canto 12. The Proud. As oxen move beneath the yoke, so I, likewise, was walking with that burdened soul, as long as my sweet pedagogue allowed. But when he said, "Leave him, and move along, for here it is good each one drives his bark, however much he can, with wings and oars," I copied, with my body, that straightness with which it is fitting for one to walk, though my thoughts remained bent over and low. I had moved and was freely following the steps of my master, and we were both already showing just how light we were. And he said to me, "Turn your eyes downward. It will be good for you, and smooth your way to consider the bed beneath your soles." As over the buried, that memory of them might remain, the tombs in the ground carry markings of what they were before. For which one, time after time, weeps again on account of the sting of remembrance that digs its heels in the pious alone. Likewise, I saw carved illustrations there, though of better aspect due to the skill over the road that juts from the mountain. I beheld him, created more noble than any other creation, descend thunderbolting from heaven on one side. I held Briareus lying heavily upon the lethal ice, transfixed by a celestial bolt there on the other side. I beheld Thymbraeus, Pallas, and Mars, still in their armor, around their father, scanning the severed limbs of the giants. I beheld Nimrod, almost bewildered at the foot of his great work, regarding the proud people there with him in Shinar. O Niobe, with what sorrowful eyes I saw you engraved upon the path mid 7 and 7 of your dead children. O Saul, how you appeared on your own sword dead there on Gilboa, so that mountain never after felt either rain or dew. O deranged Arachne, thus I saw you, already half spider, sad on the shreds of the work that did you so much evil. O Rehoboam, now your image there seems not fearsome but fearful. A carriage bears it away without chase being given. It was showing again the hard pavement, how Alcmaeon made the unfortunate adornment seem too dear to his mother. It was showing how his sons threw themselves upon Sennacherib in the temple, and how, having killed him, they left him there. It was showing the wreck and cruel slaughter Thymeris made, when she said to Cyrus, "For blood you thirsted, with blood I fill you." It was showing how the Assyrians fled in a rout after Holofernes was killed, and the remains of the carnage. I beheld Troy in ashes and ruins. O Ilion, the mark one perceives there, it was showing how long and vile you were. Whoever was master of brush and style, that could portray the shade and lines that there would set a subtle genius marveling. The dead seemed dead, the living, living. None who saw the real saw more than I, all that I tread as I went bent over. Now be proud and strut with a haughty face, you sons of Eve, and bend not your vision, such that you might behold your evil path. We had now gone round more of the mountain, and the journey of the sun was much spent, more than my captivated soul noticed, when he who was always going, watchful, in front of me, began, "Lift up your head, there is no more time to go stooped over. See there an angel that readies itself to come to us. See how the 6th handmaid arrives back from her service of the day. Adorn your face and frame with reverence, such that he delights to send us upward. Reflect, this day will never rise again." I was well used to his admonitions to not lose any time, such that in this matter his words could not be closed to me. The beautiful creature drew near to us, robed all in white, and in his appearance he was like the glistening morning star. He opened his arms, then opened his wings. He said, "Come, here the steps are close at hand, and now one is able to rise with ease." They rarely come at this invitation. O human people, born to fly upward, why do you fall before so little wind? He led us to where the rock was carved out. Once there, he beat my forehead with his wing, and then he promised me a safe going. As on the right hand, to climb the mountain where the church that dominates the well-run city above the Rubicante sits. The daring rush of the climb is broken by the stairs that were made during the age when the records and the stave were secure. In such a manner the bank is relaxed, which falls quite steeply from the next circle, though here and there the high stone presses close. We had turned our bodies to that place when Beati pauperes spiritu sang with such voices that speech cannot express it. Ah, how different these channels are from those in hell! For here one enters with singing, and there below with ferocious laments. By then we were climbing the holy steps, and I was seeming to be much lighter than I had seemed before along the ledge. Wherefore I, "Master, say what heavy thing has been lifted from me, so that hardly any strain climbing up by me is felt?" He answered, "When the peas that still remain on your forehead, which are nearly faded, are, as the one, wholly erased from it, your feet will be so conquered by good will, that not only will they not feel the strain, it will delight them to be spurred upward." Then I did just as those that go around with something on their head unknown to them, unless another's sign make them suspect. Therefore their hand makes to figure it out, to search and find and fulfill the duty that is unable to be done by sight. And with just the fingers of my right hand I found only 6 of the letters he of the keys inscribed above my temples. At that my leader, gazing at me, smiled.